Hi! On this episode of BECOtv, we're going to show you how to retrofit a Cooper Form 6 recloser control with a BECOtv M2406 adapter chassis. This particular adapter chassis is compatible with the 14 and 19 pin Kyle Nova Control Power VTC reclosers, just like this one. For this installation, you'll need the installation guide for the M2406 adapter chassis. You'll need a number 1 Phillips screwdriver. You'll need a 7/16 nut driver, a 3/8 inch nut driver, some electrical tape, and a 3/8 inch open-ended wrench. You'll also need the M7679 RPAC control mounted in the M2406 adapter chassis. For safety purposes, we do want to take a minute to mention that you need to have the proper PPE for this installation. Make sure that you have your safety glasses, your gloves, proper hearing protection, and your hard hat. And make sure that you follow your utilities' proper safety procedures. Before you begin the installation, you need to make sure that you follow your utilities' proper lockout-tagout procedures. Then, you want to make sure that you disconnect power from the control. You also disconnect the battery. Then you'll want to disconnect the actual control cable from the recloser control. Once you have done all of these things, you need to visually verify that the control is off. The M2406 is compatible with Cooper Form 6 controls with the serial number 10,000 and above. You can visually verify this by looking at the back of your Form 6 control. If it has the connectors P1, P2, P3, and P4, you can rest assured that they will indeed be able to be connected to the back of the M2406 chassis. The 14 and 19 pin controls come with an optional voltage sensing input. If your control has the optional voltage sensing input, you will need to verify the white jumpers on the terminal block. The white jumpers on the left are connected to the odd terminals 1, 3, and 5. The jumpers on the right should be connected to the even terminals 8, 10, and 12. If this is not the case for your control, you will need to consult your installation guide for a simple instruction on how to modify these jumpers. To start the retrofit, we're going to remove the wire harness from the back of the Form 6 control. To do this, we're going to disconnect terminal block 1 from the back of the control. You'll do this by loosening the 2 screws on the side of the terminal block and then gently removing the terminal block from the back of the Form 6. These wires terminated on this terminal block are no longer needed for the BECOtv M2406 adapter chassis. You can remove them from your wire harness. Next, we're going to remove terminal block 9. You can do this by loosening the screws and removing them from the corners of the terminal block. Next, we'll need to disconnect the connectors on the bottom of the Form 6. This will be P1, P3, and P4. You can do this by gently pressing down on the tab and removing the connectors from the back of the relay. You have successfully disconnected the Form 6 from the wiring harness. Now we're going to begin with the mechanical extraction of the Form 6. You'll need your 7/16 driver and your 3/8 driver. There's one 7/16 nut in the back of the Form 6. You'll want to remove that and make sure that you keep all of your hardware because it will be used once we install the adapter chassis. In order to complete the mechanical extraction of the Form 6, you'll need to remove the 4 3/8 inch nuts on either side of the Form 6. You also need to remove the latch screw at the top of the control cabinet. Now, this can be done with your nut driver, or if you have a little bit of trouble with this latch screw, you can use your 3/8 inch wrench. Now you have successfully freed the Form 6 from the control cabinet, and it should come out like so. After completion of the mechanical extraction of the Form 6, you'll need to remove the battery cable from the control cabinet and save it to install it on the adapter chassis. Before the mechanical installation of your 2406, you will need to install the battery cable. Note that you also have 3 other loose wire harnesses. You have a ground strap, you have a battery charging harness, and you have a battery wake harness. You will need to install the battery harness on the chassis in the battery input, like so. Before mechanical installation of the 2406, make sure that you put your wires through the control cabinet before you insert the actual chassis. Like so. The next step is to secure your chassis to the control cabinet. You can do this with the hardware that you have been saving from the previous extraction. Once you've completed the installation of the 4 nuts on the corners of the adapter chassis, be sure that you also install the latch nut at the top of the control cabinet. To complete the mechanical insertion, you'll need to take your grounding strap, put it on the back side of the chassis, and then install your 7/16 nut. This will complete the mechanical insertion of the M2406. Next, we're going to complete the electrical installation of the M2406. First, what you'll need to do is connect the battery wake cables to the battery wake terminals on the board of the existing Cooper hardware. You're going to take the TM2 connector and the TM1 connector and connect them to the point of connection on the board labeled TM2 and TM1. As you can see here, the TM1 and TM2 connectors are terminated on the board in the TM1 and TM2 location. Next, we're going to complete our electrical installation. You'll need to connect the P1, the P3, and the P4 connectors on the back of the M2406 chassis. P1, P3, P4. Next, we'll install the terminal block 9 onto the M2406 chassis. You only need 2 screws for this installation. They'll be catty-cornered to one another. To finalize the installation, we'll need to push the battery cable through the control cabinet to the front. You'll also need to connect the battery charger cable to the existing board in the Cooper cabinet. This will complete your electrical installation of the M2406. Also, remember, if you took the shield off of the terminal blocks for the optional voltage input, make sure you put it back. Once you've completed the installation of the M2406, make sure you connect your control cable to the bottom of the cabinet. Then we're going to connect the battery. And then you can apply power to the relay. After you've applied power, wait for the 7679 to boot up. Once it's booted up, you'll be able to see the status of the recloser. It's recommended that you do at least 1 trip close sequence to verify operation of the control cabinet. Now you have completed the installation of the 7679 RPAC using the M2406 adapter chassis. Happy reclosing.